Going live, and we're live. Excellent. That looks pretty dark. I think, real quickly, Becky, go ahead and entertain for just a second. There we go. There we've got a live video. Thanks, Becky. So, Carl is gone. Carl is out in the woods. Told me uber last minute that he's not going to be here today, so we have a stand-in. Welcome guest, Becky. Thank you for joining us. If none of you have met Becky thus far, Becky, we call her Beginner Becky because that's what the package called her. So she is a beginner player, Beginner Becky. She has her mouth open in shock because of all of the new things in Airsoft that she needs to take in. It's a lot. I know you can do it. Anyway, some things that we need to talk about. Ooh, I had a whole list. Frick, I didn't write it down. Of course, we need to talk about lights out. Well, what else? There was something else uber important that was like numero uno, like the first thing I was going to talk about. What? Oh, shoot. This is part of Crazy Eyes. This is Talon going crazy. Literally losing his mind. Like I had a whole list on the drive to the arena here of things that I was going to talk about, and I somehow managed to forget everything other than the lights out. Shoot. Okay. Well, I do want to make sure that the sound is coming through A-okay. Coming up. Yep, it is. All right. And we're not getting too echoey. It is incredibly echoey in here. It is very, 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 very bad. And we're going to have a weird little reverb. But we're kind of just waiting for everything to populate. We are getting everything set up and staged. Yeah. So essentially, we're sweeping the field. You may or may not see Malcolm in the background sweeping the field. We're getting everything swept up. Most Wednesdays are our sweep up day. Sorry, it's a little hard to like bounce around without anyone else here. So now I need to fill the space, which is really weird because it essentially just is like another YouTube video that I do, which is just me talking into the void. Essentially, first things off of the very short list that I have as of right now is we have a lights out event, which is a old school lights out. So it's still under the label of lights out, but it's now being labeled as old school lights out. And this is in reference to a lot of the kind of beginnings of Airsoft, when Airsoft hype really came onto social media in general, where we kind of had a really quick influx of Airsoft players. And that was about 10 to 6 years ago. There was like that time span where just Airsoft just got hyper popular. And so we're doing a lights out July 15th, Friday the 15th, down here at the Airsoft Arena. It's going to be our traditional lights out, where we're going to have all of the overhead lights off. We're going to have some accent lights in different corners and in hallways. But what we're doing, a little twist on the rules, is we are not allowing players to utilize their standard gear setups. Instead, we're going to be restricted to some of the options that we only had that 10 to 6 years ago. And that was the other thing. I was going to grab a spring-powered shotgun because that's one of the only guns that you can use for old school lights out. Spring-powered shotguns or stock pistols. So if your gun is spring-powered, regardless of whether it's a single shot or a tri-shot or like a weird 6-shot variation, as long as it's spring-powered, you cannot use gas and you cannot use HPA tap shotguns. You definitely cannot use standard AEGs, no HPAs, no gas blowbacks, unless it's a gas blowback pistol, in which case it's a stock green gas model. So no HPA tapped, meg extended conversions, no short stroke bull crap on those green gas pistols. CO2 pistols are allowed, again, in a stock configuration, as long as they're not modified with those meg adapters, the tapped megs, so on and so forth, or AEPs, so automatic electric pistols. Those were really popular. Originally from Tokyo Marui, I might add as well. So they were pretty prevalent. Again, they've kind of phased out in favor of the current production of gas blowbacks, green gas, and the CO2 configurations. So this Glock 19 that I have right in front of my face, but I'm still looking through, this is going to be an example of one of the pistols that you could utilize down here at the Airsoft Arena, old school lights out. So this is one that I have in my collection, that bare bones, stock configurations, no short strokes or RMR or mag tap conversions for this guy. What we will do, melee weapons, highly encouraged. So if you have a rubber knife, if you have a rubber sword, if you've got like a foam axe, foam sword, if it's something that you want to throw, as long as it is coreless, so it doesn't have like a metal or plastic core to it. If it's flexible and fully rubber, that's the big thing. It has to be fully foam or fully rubber. There can't be any type of metallic or plastic internal bits to it. That is throwable. Another thing is going to be grenades. Grenades are going to be your best friend in this environment. And because of the environment that we are in, we do have limitations on the different types of grenades that are usable. And unfortunately, the one company that makes both of these grenades is no longer in business, which is a real shame because these guys would have been the powerhouse. So essentially, the Tornado 2s, the Bang 22s, the Burst XLs, the Cyclones, the ASG Storms, any of the spring-powered grenades. If you've got a, you know what, I'll allow Claymores. If you've got a Claymore, you can use a Claymore. There were some guys that were making some homemade Claymores, and we got to get everything okayed by us staff. So if you bring something and we don't okay it, as far as like Claymores, Airsoft Claymores, by the way, or rubber knives cannot have blades or edges or sharp bits to them. We are going to check all of those as well because there have been accidents in the past. But yeah, this is going to be like I'm going to have a lot of fun with this because this is going to be back when Talon first did Airsoft down at the Airsoft Arena, where spring shotguns ran supreme and Elite Force 1911s were the superior pistol platform. Of course, we have way more options as far as platforms and models and different things that you can do to pistols. So it's really great that we can, we have all of these options available to us. But this is something that we're paying homage essentially to the roots of what local airsoft originally was. So it's going to be a good, blast from the past, a blast from the past. Your boy going crazy. So yeah, that is going to be our old school lights out. We are going to have, if you don't have rifles or pistols, or not rifles, if you don't have shotguns or pistols, we will have a couple of models here that we'll have available as like a package deal. We won't have any as far as renting, so you do need to purchase something. But for the Elite Force 1911 specifically, we will have a really good package paired with a tracer unit, because tracer units are going to be one of the only ones that are, or the Elite Force 1911s are going to be one of the only two out-of-the-box pistols that will work extremely well with tracer units. So we are really excited about that. And we'll also probably do something like spring shotgun related. There's a lot of really good tri shots on the market. In fact, if you guys haven't seen any of the newest like Cyma tri shots, uh, there's a lot of like cool things coming from Simon. Now they're doing like hyper tactical setups. They're doing key mod handguards. They're doing optic mounting setups. They're doing collapsible stacks. So they're like doing like modern-esque type of shotgun setups instead of the old school full stack or stockless or even that weird rotary type of stock setup. So Sima's like they're coming back. They're coming back. I'm looking forward to them. In fact, quick tactical break because I'm going to grab some of those shotguns. Becky, entertain me. Okay, so 2 spring shotguns. This one has not changed in literally probably about 10 years. They're still utilizing an all plastic build. It's a full stack with a grip on it. It's a rubberized handguard here, and it's spring powered and pump action. Just not towards the microphone here. So very recently, they've released this guy, which is now an all metal, and this is still coming from Cyma. They're still utilizing that 30-round shell. Oh, I'm out of breath. Whew. I did try to run. So it's a metal body. They have a little bit more modular of a grip here, so you have a little bit more control. It is looking like a gas blowback type of grip. So if you're familiar with like Magpul, Clone, or PTS gas blowback stuff, we've got a collapsible stock here that you can put whatever you want. I'm preferable towards a PTS or Magpul type of grips or stocks. Your boy going crazy. Again, metal body, metal barrel, metal mag tube here, optic mount. This doesn't do anything, but it's really cool that it actuates and has like some type of movement to it. Takes the same type of shell system, and we've got all the key mod here as far as if you want to actually mount a flashlight, mount a laser system, mount a hand stop. I probably wouldn't do a vert grip because that'd probably rip the actual pump here off, and it's still your same tri-shot internal system compared to this guy, which back in the day you literally embraced the jank setup on a lot of these spring shotguns. If you just wanted a flashlight setup, you literally just got the shortest flashlight you could, put it onto the left-hand side, which you traditionally aren't supposed to do left-hand side, and you literally just taped it to the front of the barrel there. So every time you did a pump, your thumb could come up here and activate the switch if you wanted to, or do some type of jank flashlight setup on the grip here. And there's no options as far as like hand stops or vert grip attachments. Another jank setup if you want to do some type of optic mount to the top here, but it's plastic, so you're very limited as what type of adhesive material you want to use as far as mounting that rail system onto. And as far as like the stock, you're just stuck with the stock. You got no options. You have full stock, and that is it. So I'm really happy that they are making like newer additions to their setups. And again, I was thinking about this weekend, and kind of along the lines of that whole jank setup, and that I have thought of a skit that we possibly could do. But like old school jank airsoft setups was like your gun, because back in the day, like materials were just not great. So they wore down really quickly. So you did kind of whatever you could in order to utilize the same stuff that came on the gun, still keep it attached and still keep it, operating. Versus what most guys are doing today, where they're taking their rifle systems. I'm going to borrow this Becky real quick. And they're just changing the handguard out for something that they prefer, but it's not supposed to attach. So they're replacing a non-workable system onto their gun, and they're applying even more jank in order to get that handguard to kind of work in place. There are some guys that will use completely different upper receivers to the different brands that they have. They'll do like a weird drop stock conversion back here with like a bullpup, and they're like 3D printing shit. But the whole point of and it looks super janky. I'm gonna give it to that. It looks janky, but it's a different application of jank. So the jank of keeping all the original stuff on the gun and then just making it to where it stays on is like OG jank versus just getting shit that you like and throwing it on there and getting it to stay. That's still jank, but it's not like the old school jank. That's just like a little cringe type of jank as far as, ooh, I want a Geisley handguard, but it gets all super wobbly. So I'm going to like put some type of wood block on the end of the gas block here so I can use it as like a free float. But oh no, if I apply too much pressure up, it moves my entire barrel. Like that's just a self-applied jank. That's not the gun falling apart. That's you just, not you specifically, but that's that person just making it to where things are just not compatible with each other, which is, not a good look. Not a good look. Here you go, Becky. You can have that back. Thank you. So, yeah, that's essentially our old school lights out setups. Spring-powered shotguns, pistols, shotguns, melee weapons, and grenades if you can get grenades. And I'm going to be uber excited. Tracer units and flashlights are not going to be necessary. We've had some complaints previously about that, like we have to supply flashlights or whatever. So in order to combat that, we're putting a little bit more accent lights in the environment, so it's still like lit up, but we're essentially putting more lights in darker places and then less lights in like better lit environments, so that it's like a weird like little psycho, like, oh my god, this is totally not how I would want to. Because a lot of people, I don't think they realize it, but they're conscious of it, but they're not thinking of it, if that makes sense. So one of the things that you typically want to look for, and this is going into like the CQB series videos that we're making later today, is watching your shadow, the projection of your shadow on the floor as you're moving through hallways. That shadow is going to break the threshold of the door before your physical body will. So what guys are not looking for, but they're still aware of, is watching the shadow of themselves or other players. And they're using that as a hint in order to jump around and get a bang kill. So what we're intentionally doing when we do the lights out stuff is we're putting lights in positions that they may be used to not looking at the floor to where their shadow is projecting. So we're inducing more projection of shadow, or we're eliminating that projection of shadow in those spots specific. That's one of the big things that we intentionally look for in lights out light setups, and just pretty much cool colors. I mean, we were doing like a cool, like we were mixing red bulbs and blue bulbs, and we were getting like a cool pinkish purple type of hue. Looked really dope. And then we would mix green and blue, and we would get we would mix, what would we mix? We got like an orange color, a red and green, a red and something. We got like a bright orange, which looked dope. But I forget exactly which color combo we went with. Yeah, anyway. Let's see, what else was on the list? I could complain about hop up. Hop up, guys. Am I right? For the one dude that's watching. Appreciate you. I have had, as of recently, some issues with hop up, and not so much with the app itself, but with the people involved in messaging me. And I don't know why I keep slapping my knife against my forehead and around my face like this. That's weird. Becky. So essentially, Hop Up, if you guys are not familiar with Hop Up, it is a app system that allows you to sell your airsoft guns and gear, because a lot of the social media platforms such as eBay, Craigslist, Facebook. Facebook is the biggest one, where you're not supposed to sell your guns, airsoft, paintball, or otherwise. So Hop Up is a great way in order to sell just your airsoft stuff specifically. And unfortunately, the intent is there. The reason for creating the app and providing a community for the player base is there. And I think it's still present, but it's definitely been washed out by this younger generation. And I say younger generation because there's a lot of idiots that try messaging me. So I've got my personal account, and they did a very smart thing. I am very happy with HopUp and how they made it to where uh, companies and brands, like the airsoft brands themselves, they can't create a business account and try to sell shit on there. Um, every once in a while, there'll be like a really long string of stuff that a company is trying to sell, whether it be like boneyard or scrap parts or something that they've imported, something that's sitting on the shelf essentially. Um, but I've seen it a lot less. The issue is that there's a young generation, and there's a very big disconnect because everything is digital. You don't have that same face-to-face interaction. When I was still getting into airsoft, we're doing Talon back history, that whenever I wanted to get a pre-owned gun, I researched the shit out of it. I would talk with guys that were at the airsoft field. I would talk with guys in forums, if you guys remember using forums before Facebook pages. And I would use that as a point of personal knowledge and personal reflection on a brand or product, right? So I could use like actual real experience as a point of reference when I want to do research on a brand or a product that I want to pick up, which is great. And then I would also use in-person guys. So I'd go to different fields and I would say, hey, you've got this brand of rifle. What have you thought about it? Or you've got this type of gun. Well, that's exactly what I'm looking for. What are your thoughts on it? What are your experiences? Is it a little more beneficial close quarters, better outdoors, long distance? What are some accessories that you have attached to it? So on and so forth. Like having those in-person conversations. And one of the benefits of if you go to a field and have those conversations, more than likely, the guys will actually let you shoot their guns in order to test fire it and see for yourself if that's something you really want. And then you can have a breakdown as far as what parts, components they may have put inside there, or if it's bare bone stock or what. So you have that level of transparency and that physical connection to the guys. And that would then further the decision, I am going to get this or I'm not going to get this. So that was super beneficial as a beginner player. But that's too much work for a lot of these newer beginner players. Instead, they just want to sit on their phones and try to find guys that are selling guns for uber cheap, or they're trying to use it as an excuse for getting a good deal on an airsoft gun. And I've seen it personally on my Hop Up account and in person as a employee of an airsoft store. So first, the story about the airsoft store experience. So there's been a lot of people that will buy guns off of Hop Up and then they just won't work. And they'll come in and be like, Talon, why isn't my gun working? I'm like, well, it's a piece of crap. So I don't know what you expected to work or what not to work on this hunk of junk. So I hope you didn't pay a lot for it. And they're like, oh, I spent like all of my money. So this one story in particular, this kid bought a VFC Polar Starred HPA build for like $700. And essentially, it did not work well at all. It was, the body was very much scraped up. The Polar Star, I don't even know if it was like a new one. It looked pretty used. And a homeboy spent $700 on this build. And I'm like, uh, if it was me, if I had that gun, I would have been selling it for $300 because the body It was a shorty little VFC body, and it was so beat up, and it was so scratched up, and it looked so bad. There were crusty bits all over the inside. Ugh. Oops, sorry guys. And it was just not good. And so I don't understand how people could be willing to drop $700 if it looks crusty and it looks bad. So yes, I did see that that was Malcolm. Thanks. So I just don't get how people are willing to spend all this money on pieces of crap. And then I'll have some guns that I've gotten are made from companies, which is one of the benefits of being an airsoft company is I can get arm made guns into the store, like literally by the pallets, and I can try to fix them up myself and try to sell them as pre-owned or in some type of refurbished condition. And so some of the guns that I can't refurbish or I can't get working, I will sell as parts on HopUp. And I literally will list them at the price that I bought those individual parts for at the cost that I paid for them, shipped. So if I bought we'll just say an ASG 1911 that's CO2 powered, and I bought it for $80 and I spent some time tinkering with it, trying to get it to work, and I couldn't get it to work. Well, what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to calculate the time that you spent as a technician on diagnosing what the issue is and putting that onto the gun in order to get like a coverage of the time spent and an extra bump in the cost in order to cover shipping. Well, I intentionally don't do that on the guns that I can't get refurbished. So that ASG 1911, $80 shipped right to you. Don't even like ask for shipping. I'm going to ship it for you and don't have any type of raise in price in order to compensate the time that I took to try to get it fixed and diagnose it. But apparently that's still too much for a lot of these people, especially guys that don't read the description and they don't read the fact that, like, I will list a CQB rifle, and I'm like, this gun has electrical issues. The gearbox does not work. It is in boneyard condition, will not work. And I'll have people message me, and they're like, "Hey, bro, for $100, is this a good beginner gun? Like, this would be my first gun. Why isn't it working? Or does it work?" And I'm like, don't use HopUp for your first airsoft gun, and don't ask me if something's working if it's literally in the description that it's broken. Gah, 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 gah. So it's hyper frustrating. I have what was I selling? I was selling my HPA Kythera, and oh my god, the dudes that try to lowball me as well. So I was selling my 416A5 with a Kythera engine inside of it, and I was selling it for $400. Now, Kythera, $200. 416A5 as an AEG, $500+. So that's a $700 gun. I'm accounting for the cost of pulling the internals out. I'm accounting for the fact that I've, devalued the gun by using it. So $700 knocked down to $400. And I'm a certified technician. So I've gone to airsoft training courses in order to work as a seasoned technician. Like, I have a little plaque that says Talon knows exactly what he's doing, Wolverine Airsoft or whatever company. And still, like, some dudes are like, "Hey, bro, do you have any free HPA engines for me to just have? Because I don't want to spend the $400 on the Kythera." Personally, I would be embarrassed to ask everyone for free handouts. That's just a bad look. And really, if like the condition that HPA engine would need to be in order for me to just give it away would have to be literally beyond broken. Like, it would have to straight up be not fixable in any condition. But for some reason, some people are just walking around like, "Hey, you got any free shit for me? Hey, you got any free shit for me? Hey, you got any free shit for me?" And it's just like, holy shit. Do you guys have not you specifically? Do you people have no humility? Are you not embarrassed by asking for these free handouts? Do you not have any sense of the value of some of the things that are coming out of here? And apparently not, because some dude messaged me about the Kythera and was like, because again, it was $400. And they're like, hey, can you do $300? No, it's 400 shipped. Oh, well, can you do $320? No, it's 400 shipped. Oh, can you sell it for $350? No, it's 400 shipped. Well, what's the lowest you can go? 400 shipped. It's like, and like the $50, just give me the $50 in order to, no, he went up to 370. He was asking me to sell it to him for 370 shipped. Well, that $30 difference is the cost of shipping. Technically, we can calculate that that would be the cost of shipping, because it was actually like $36 for shipping in total for the Kythera when I shipped it out to the dude that actually did want to buy it for 400 shipped. Thank you. But what is it with dudes that try to get a free meal? We all know the adage. You can't have a free meal and eat it. You either pay for a meal and eat it, or you get a free meal, or it's a piece of shit meal and you just can't digest it. It's like, I'm just rambling on and on and on about how terrible Hop Up currently is and the terrible market that airsoft players put themselves into. Like, I know that some of the RMA guns are relatively expensive, but that's literally what I paid for them. So the people that are on Hop Up need to have a better understanding what their guns are literally valued at, because I there are some that I will scoff at and I'm like that $700 HPA gun that was just a piece of junk. Nah, bro. Okay, what else? I need to get out of my rut of stupid hop-up stories. Oh, I need my drink first. Becky, entertain. I know what we can do in the meantime. I've got here one of my personal guns that I'm going to use as a demonstration tool for some of the CQB series that we have up on the Airsoft Arena YouTube channel. Little free plug right there. So this guy, if you guys haven't seen this setup in particular, this is what PTS is currently utilizing or manufacturing in conjunction with Unity Tactical, a real firearm company. So the airsoft specific parts and components is going to be the Lancer Tactical T1 clone and the Unity high-rise skyscraper high riser. So that is airsoft specific. These two components, the magnifier and flip to center, these are real firearm parts components. Excuse me, I'm a monster. So this is a real Unity flip to center. Now the flip to center literally just flips to center. So it's going to sit right below that actual high-rise skyscraper there. And then you literally just flip it up. And now you're a 3 times magnified. So some of the other flip to sides, as far as that 3 times magnifier coming up, will come from the side. Well, what some guys would do is they would have just a 3 times magnifier sitting out to the side here. And if they need to identify a target farther away, they'll just do a 45-degree cant, and they'll use just the magnifier as that magnifier to see farther away. Versus this comes up. The benefits are that the skyscraper actually protects most of the body of the glass of the magnifier here. So you would need to have a very hard angle in order to actually hit the glass here. And because this is a real SIG Juliet 3 times magnifier, it's very hard in glass. So at that extreme of an angle right there, more than likely is not going to be enough in order to shatter it. Normally, you need like a very hard on, like a point of impact in order to get glass to shatter. So the fact that it would be a hard angle, more than likely the BB would just bounce off. And because it's real, I get a much better warranty compared to if it was just an airsoft one. So not only is it more protected, but it also has a much clearer and crisper image, in my opinion. And I'm very much used to having that T1 magnifier or optic here. So just having the extra benefit of being able to flip up, come in close, and see my targets uber far away, super beneficial. I actually did a breakdown of this guy in particular in the LPO versus magnifier video that I did because I like this setup so much. And you can actually see me fucking around with the flip to centers and the T1 setups at the PTS booth at SHOT Show 2022. So you guys can see me in the background just finger fucking the shit out of the magnifier setups, which were really cool. I really like those setups. But I need to, for the sake of the CQB series from the Arena channel, I need to put my pressure pad switch on here. Apparently, I didn't bring my flashlight over and put it here because I'm just a psycho. I'm a psycho dude. That's actually my my first like big airsoft gun, which is it's a VFC pre-Avalon. So it was utilizing Avalon internals before they actually like were the Avalon series. So that was yeah, that was a good gun and still is a good gun. I'm actually going to be testing stress testing a Perun MOSFET that I have installed that gun, which is another long-term video that I need to work on. Which is Perun versus Gate. And if you guys follow the channel, you know that the most recent Gate products that I've installed in some of my stuff and customer stuff and staff stuff, not even stuff that I've installed, but stuff that other employees have installed, have had issues. So we're going to try some Perun out. Right, Becky? Tell me, Becky, how long have you been playing Airsoft? Fascinating. What else can we talk about? Talked about the lights out, talked about the hop up, talked about the new setup. That's pretty much it. Relatively dead today. I'm assuming that everyone's like out traveling or out enjoying family from 4th of July, which happy Independence Day, guys. What a wonderful, wonderful time for our country, for our culture. The 4th of July, Independence Day. Love it. 1776, baby. So, maybe I can tease you with some of the things that are coming out as far as videos. Wait, is that? No, that's not my pressure pad. ADD. We had the Elite Force 1911 video come out as far as like if it's still competitive, which, spoiler alert, I still think it is relatively competitive as far as a pistol platform compared to the rest of today's market of pistol setups. So that was good. We do have a Tavor video that we are still in the works of making. So we have the first bullpup. I am going to do a KWA M11 conversion kit, and those are going to be, well, I'm waiting for the body to actually get here. So we're still a little behind as far as stuff for that. I would love to do more of the, I guess, lore-based intro stuff, kind of like what Grantham is doing and kind of what Demolition Ranch is doing as far as that cool guy type of setup. Administrative Results does it very well as well. Yeah, just some that I'm just playing around with, trying to figure out where that balance is. So we have the Bullpup M11 kit coming in. Don't know when it's going to arrive. I put in a request for the E&L starter or beginner or the essentials, the E&L essentials AK. So we have one of those. I put in the request. That doesn't mean we'll actually get it. We're waiting for the Glock 42s to come back into stock. We're waiting for the GHKs to hit the US market. I'm kind of making room for the Polymer KWA rifle series to add to my collection, so we can do an overview of those. Which here's a really sad thing. Okay, this is very, very sad. If you go onto Evike and you look at the little shorty PDW polymer body KWA rifles, and you watch the videos on that body, I don't remember who it is, but if you watch the gameplay video, you can clearly see someone's GoPro get hit, have a weird sound distortion happen, like the click or clack of a BB striking the GoPro housing and distorting the sound for a half a second. And homeboy did not call out. Kind of cringe that not only did homeboy leave that clip in the video that he posted, and it's like in the first couple of minutes. So you have to intentionally leave that clip in the video. You got to rewatch. Now, granted, I don't know how other people edit their videos, but when I edit videos and Malcolm edits videos, we sit there and we rewatch the videos over and over and over. So the fact that homeboy left that clip in, mad disrespect. And the fact that he went and he hit rendered the video out, uploaded it, probably on his own channel, and then Evic came and posted that video, and they also have to watch the video. Like, it only makes sense that Evic watches the entire video, make sure it's a good video that represents the product and the brand positively. And the fact that they watched it and were like, this is a good video, we're going to put it onto this product page. Mad disrespect. So I don't know what it is with people like leaving those clips in either. This is going in a very weird direction that I'm not a fan of. And I don't know how to fix it. So Talon, I'm going crazy, baby. But yeah, if I was a better technician, I would be able to like pull that up for you guys to watch, because it's, again, polymer body KWA rifle. It's on the pre-order list. Mad disrespect. Don't get that. But anyway, that product, once I get it, I will have that in my collection. Ooh, the gas blowback. FS90, which was showcased digitally from KWA because they were not present at SHOT Show. So I was not able to finger fuck the FS90 at all, which is highly disappointing. Highly disappointing. They had like the best booth, even compared to real firearm booths. Like KWA was uber impressive. So I was actually looking forward to doing a whole video just on the KWA booth and doing it like super cool, guys, slow-mo, gimbal shots, slider shots, so on and so forth. We have the Psionics Opsin coming out relatively soon. I'm hoping to get that in my collection and do a video on that guy. Whenever LBX gets that nice plate carrier in, I'll pick one of those up. And what else? I'm so glad you guys are so talkative. You guys in chat. But that's that. I think that's that. Relatively short compared to other videos. It doesn't help that I don't have a secondary body in order to help give me the energy that I need. Hey, Becky. I mean, she's here. She's just fulfilling a role. She's just filling a spot. Imagine if Becky wasn't here for me to interact with. How truly lonesome and crazy I truly would be. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to call that quits for now. Um, Guys, stay tuned for the Old School Lights Out. We do have the event page up and active, so you guys can check some of the more details out about that. We'll be posting more information about the Lights Out. Obviously, you've got the YouTube channel here, Airsoft Arena YouTube as well, and we're kind of growing that guy up. And currently, nothing as far as collabs with anyone else. I would love to do more collabs. Yo, if you are a local airsofter and you would like to help grow your channel at all, then just freaking let me know, right? Because we've got the space. We could work something out. Just hit me up. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. So you guys take care, stay safe, stay positive, and I'll see you guys in the next one.